Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's nice to see you all. I'm delighted that you're here. I think some of our students will still come in, and I hope that's not too disruptive for our panel. But I wanted to start this evening by saying thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting this effort to look at it's a career path that all of you should be aware of, and also by the time you leave here, I assure you, you will have a whole different view of what store management and the store management career path will be like. I am honored to have an entire panel of experts doing a variety of different things in the store management career path. So I want you to learn all about them and take away with you some wonderful ideas and opportunities that will help you determine whether this just might be your career path. So pay attention, ask questions, and after we're done with our panel, we'll have the wonderful opportunity of going outside, and there are enough people in this room who are in this career that you can get one-on-one with them and really find out more. So take this opportunity. It doesn't come along every day. So I would like to start by having our panel introduce themselves. And then around the room, I think you need to see who else is here. So we'll get the other representatives from stores, because we have multiple people here from multiple stores. But let's get to know the panelists first. How about telling us your name, your position, and a little bit about what you do? Maybe just a couple of minutes. And then I'm coming back with questions and the students will have questions.
All right, hello, I'm Ian Beeler. I'm a store manager with Payless Shoe Source. Pretty much day in the life of a store manager is coming in, doing shipment. We do lots of customer service, of course. That's the main part of our job. And, you know, we create schedules, pretty much a jack of all trades at Payless Shoe Source.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Allen and I'm a store team leader for Target, which is basically the same as a general manager. So I've been with the company for 2 years, so I'm excited to answer some of your questions about what it's like to be a store team leader with Target. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Hello everybody, my name is Jeff Manick. I'm a district vice president in Orange County, California for Macy's. I've been with the company for about 25 years and I've done various things, and we keep talking about store line. The one thing that I will say, a lot of people here are very interested in going into the corporate offices, buyer, fashion, right? I did that, and I am so happy I'm in stores. This is a great career, and it's a great path, and ask a lot of questions, and we hope we convince you to really look at store line today.
My name is Renee Pichter. I am from Kohl's Department Stores, so I have 12 stores in the state of Arizona. I have East Phoenix, Tucson, Yuma, and Casa Grande, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Please ask us all of the questions that are really on your mind, and we'll give you really honest answers, as we hope that you make the same smart decision that we did.
Hello, my name is Patrick Wiggins. I'm with PetSmart, and I'm store director here in town. And I've been with PetSmart for about 8 years, and have really enjoyed the retail aspect of mixing product with pets, and it's a very rewarding career.
Hi, first of all, welcome, and I'm David Bone, and I've been with Dick's Sporting Goods for 15 years, and I've been in the industry for 25, and love every minute of that, and certainly take the time to ask a lot of questions this evening. I think there's a tremendous panel up here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and certainly the route that I chose when I left college was a very good route, and we have a lot of fun. So,
I'm Judy Riddell. I'm with JCPenney. I've been with Penny's for 25 wonderful years, and I was just really excited to be a part of Mythbusters. It's one of my favorite shows. So I've also had the opportunity to kind of be on both ends, both the store ends and the merchandise teams with JCPenney. And these guys are right. I tell you what, store careers are where it's at, performance and what you want to do. So again, looking forward to your questions and getting to know you guys afterwards. well, the first thing I do every day is check my report card. So we come in and we look at sales because that's what we're all there for. And what's wonderful in a store environment is that you get to look at that every day. And it's not just a number that you look at, it's a number that you have an opportunity to impact. So we look at sales, we walk the floor, we look at how things are looking, where we need to replenish, meet with the various team leaders, the sales managers. If we had a tough day in denim, you know, we'll go walk the denim department and see, okay, what are we going to do to get that back today? So what I think is my favorite part of the job is really it's kind of left brain and right brain, and no 2 days in the life of a JCPenney store manager are quite the same. So every day is kind of a new adventure. Questions?
David Bowen, store manager with Dick's Sporting Goods. Day in the life, when I walk into a Monday morning, I guess every day is a little bit different. You walk in Monday mornings and again, we're very much comp sales focused and metric focused. We track many different metrics such as items per transaction, average sale, comp sales, planned sales, conversion, score more, what we consider online sales. Certainly we look at those metrics first thing in the morning, pull your email. I do walk the floor, both floors. I do have a 2-level 3-entrance building and location. So we do walk upstairs and downstairs of that particular building. And I touch base with my, my total crew, upstairs, downstairs, assess, we pretty much assess the schedules for the day, any call outs, hopefully no call outs, certainly change your day a little bit. And that's where we begin, and we have a morning huddle. Every morning we have a huddle, and every evening we have a huddle. So we do huddle up with all of the associates in the building and discuss certain team tasks that would come down or directives from our corporate office. And that's pretty much a day in the life. Gets much more extensive. So
You're probably going to hear a lot of the same things with checking sales and whatnot. But yeah, every morning that's a big thing with PetSmart. We look at our sales, we check our scorecard. We also check our customer service scorecard, our overall satisfaction of our customers to see how well we're performing for our customers. That's a big focus for PetSmart right now. Along with that, it's interacting with the associates that I have, the different department managers and my associates. Just engaging with them, making sure everybody's doing good. They all enjoy where they're working, and any issues they have we can address. And then the fun part of the day begins, which is following up with the different pets. My particular location, we have a pets hotel. So not only do we have all the guinea pigs and the birds and the snakes that we get to hang out with, but we also get all of the pets that come in from all of our customers. We have a doggy day camp, so we have a loyal group of customers who come in every morning at 7 o'clock, drop their dogs off to play in doggy day camp. So the doggy day camp window is the most therapeutic spot in the building. You can go over there and just unwind and watch the dogs play. But I think the big difference between a PetSmart retail environment and other retail environments I've been in the past is that pet interaction. Not just the pets that we sell, but the pets that are coming with their customers. It seems like customers that are there shopping for their pets seem to be a little happier. I'm not buying office supplies for my boss on my lunch hour. I'm coming in to pick out a toy for Fluffy. So that's kind of the day in the life of PetSmart.
I don't have a pet hotel. Yeah, I don't have a pet hotel. Certainly having 12 stores, my day certainly involves the business and being able to understand and assess from a global perspective how my team and my district is doing. On top of that, I run 2 different campuses, so both this one and ASU are my responsibility as we recruit and manage talent from both of those campuses. I have quite a bit of community responsibility. I'm on the board for Phoenix Children's Hospital and serve quite a bit of volunteerism, as if that's something that's at the core of who we are at Kohl's, and it's something as a district manager that you have a lot of, I'd probably say 15 hours a week for me are involved in some side of either volunteering or really being involved in that. And then certainly time with my team. So in this job, it's all about leading and developing the best leaders. So I spend most of my days walking stores, working on the development of my team, focused on their futures, and really the things that make them tick and make them love coming to work.
Okay. I don't have any doggy daycare, and my day in my life is more like this one right over here. I manage multiple stores, and it's just over $400 million worth of business in those stores. I have a team that travels with me, and I travel a lot, and I go to stores a lot. That's what I do basically every day. Mondays are my office day, and I try to get everything done in that one day. And my team is made up of 17 individuals. So it's HR, it's operations, it's staffing, it's visual, and then I have district merchants that report to me, and each merchant is responsible for a certain FOB. So we have one for men's, we have one for ready-to-wear, we have one for each business, and then I have a team of district planners that report to me as well, and those planners really are the ones that are analyzing the business. So a day in the life is really hard because sometimes it is kind of like the pet world, because it's like herding cats, trying to figure out where everyone is. There's 2 days a week that the entire team, so myself and all 17 of the team, go into a store, and we have what we call a deep dive. And we spend one very long, full day understanding issues and trying to help the stores. And we spend a lot of time with the sales team, the sales managers, the sales associates, and the senior leadership of the store.
Okay, so similar to what you've heard from some of our other panelists, is that a day in the life is not going to be the same any given day. That's definitely one of my favorite things about being a store manager, is that it's going to keep you on your toes. It's going to be exciting every day. And what really keeps it together is making sure that you have your routine in place. As far as what needs to get done on a daily basis and throughout a week, that's what ensures that you're going to be accessible. But the most important thing that I do on a daily basis is the time that I spend with my team and the conversations that we have around the business. So we spend a lot of time just going out and looking at the business from a global perspective, making sure that they're accurately assessing and that I'm helping them to dig in and look at the right reports so that we can put all the pieces together. And not only just looking at the business, but we really focus on the leadership side of it, so making sure that we're looking at, what our team can do to be more successful, how they can be the best leaders that they can be, and that's really the most exciting thing about the day. So.
All right, so as a manager at Payless, come in, check your metrics. Got to go through, check to make sure everything's tagged correctly, the price is right. So customers can come in, purchase the product at the right price. We also need to make sure the product is represented. And like I said, we do have to be a jack of all trades. We're responsible for recruiting and getting the store staffed properly, and always running clean, organized. And also we need to make sure that the marketing is proper and correct, and also that we are servicing our customer properly. And we have a lot of team building, we're role playing all the time, coaching our associates to make sure that they know all the correct actions to give the customer the best possible.
I have a whole list of questions, but I want to defer to you all. I mean, I can keep asking them, or you may want to ask. Do I have any questions from the audience? Yes.
As store managers, to what extent do you feel like you're running your own business versus the business of the corporation?
You all hear that question? Yes? Good. You all heard it.
Well, I know at Payless we're given a whole lot of accountability to what our metrics are, and we have to live up to our results. And so we're given a lot of leeway in how we operate our business in our own store. So that gives us a lot of, we can operate the business the way we see fit in order to drive our business.
So at Target, they definitely give you a lot of autonomy to function within your store. So I feel very comfortable being myself and who I am and sharing my personality with my team. So that's one of my favorite things about working for Target, as they really value that individual leader you can be within the store. The company definitely has its vision, and I feel really good about the vision that the company brings to life and the way that it's communicated from the top down. I think it's really cool that we can still bring the strategy to life and be a part of the big picture and really execute what Target does very well, but at the same time be who you are as a person and be able to really soar with what you're good at and what you're capable of within the store. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that and at the same time execute what the company has on for you too.
I take we're going down the line.
I think
Okay. I get the pattern now. Okay. So I just want to say I was a store manager of 4 different stores for a total of 10 years, and I had a very unique opportunity to once run and be the general manager of the Union Square store in San Francisco, and that's one of the largest in the country. And first of all, store manager has been my favorite job I've ever had. I have done lots of things. Store manager, definitely. And I always felt, and the company always wants you to put your own mark on your store. It might say Macy's on the outside of the building, but what's in it is yours and your responsibility as a store manager, and it takes on your personality. In Macy's, we have what we call My Macy's, and it's relatively new. It's about 3 years old, and it really is about localization, making choices in your store for your customer and your community. So I thought you asked a great question because you do have to balance. There's corporate direction, but as a store manager, it's really your own.
As I look back at a career for Dick's Sporting Goods, I've opened 5 brick and mortar stores, and for that to occur, an ownership must happen. And I think as you have a passion for sports or a passion for apparel or a passion for whatever your passion might be, mine happens to be sports, and I love to be in sports. So as the ownership goes, I open the door every day. I key the door, I walk in, I do own it. We have a process through community marketing where we make a connection to the community via organizations, athletic organizations, also through the customer that walks through the front door. Really that's the main focus, is that customer walking through the front door. Without those and without a happy customer, really there is no exclusivity with any of the products that we sell. So our number one focus is the customer, and we have to own it as store managers. We own everything in the building, to the service, to the people, to chasing merchandise, to impulse items, to planograms, to everything that you see when you walk into the store.
I don't guess I have a lot to add. I think there really is a misconception that a job in retail management is kind of insert tab A into slot B. But it's really not that at all. There are programs that we execute on a daily basis, but I tell you, there's a lot of strategy that goes into running a JCPenney store. I can speak to that. And we have a great relationship with our merchandise action team. We spoke of My Macy's, and I also, when I have special merchandise needs for my store based on the customer base that we serve, I've got direct communication with the buying team. We've got some folks here tonight that can speak to that also. But so if I need to impact my assortment, I have the power to do that. And we kind of look at ourselves really as CEOs of our stores, because we really do have that level of authority to make the decisions that are right for our company.
I want to jump in with one question for Jeff and for Renee, because you can tell that their career path is a little bit different than store management. So I would like for the two of you to speak about the career path that got you to where you are and how.
I was actually your age, and I started in retail for a different company. I've only been with Kohl's for about 3 years, and I was an executive team leader, which is an assistant store manager. I knew I was going to do that for just right at 3 years. And then I ran a store and did that for about 3 years. So I opened a brand new store, and I did 2 turnaround locations, so stores that were pretty rough, and I went in and rebuilt those teams in those stores. And then, so after about 6 years, I was promoted to a district team leader, and I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I ran a district that was about $380 million, so some really, really big stores. And then was recruited to Kohl's, which I was really excited to take that opportunity. And then, now have my 12 stores at about 200 million, so much smaller volume that I came from. But certainly, I had a lot of goals. When I was at your age, I had certain salaries I wanted to make by certain ages, and certain handbags I wanted to have by certain ages. You ladies will understand that for sure. And I think that's, certain things that I wanted to have a family and be able to provide. And I think that the biggest myth about retail that I can dispel for you today is that people really have a misconception. I have font music, that's awesome. People have a really big misconception about the hours and the holidays, and they have all of these crazy ideas about the things that we do, when in actuality this is a career that's provided me the chance to have it all. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old baby and a husband and pets, and I've been able to do all of that while running stores and running districts and going back to school to get my master's. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to say that at my age I have exactly what I want. And I think if I can bust any myths for you about my career path, that would be it.
I shouldn't have let you go first. that was impressive. I started as one of you. I was an executive trainee at Bullock's department store. That goes way back, okay? And at the time, we had a GMM, a general merchandise manager of the home store named Terry Lundgren. So Terry and I go way back. But I started as an executive trainee, and I went into retail as a department manager, and it was really my 2-year gig until I was going to go back to law school. I never went to law school, okay? That was in my blood. And at that time, because we had a lot of, as retail, we had a lot more executive or corporate offices, I guess I should say. Our career path, my career path, was to go from store into the buying office. So I was a department manager. I then went into the corporate offices as an assistant buyer, and then I became a buyer. And I will tell you, the only thing I disliked more than being a buyer was being an assistant buyer, okay? So I then decided, no, you know what, the stores really is the place that I wanna, where I wanna go and where I wanna be. And I went the store route. So I was an assistant store manager of several stores, including a store right now that I manage. And I worked for the same store manager that I now manage. I love it. Like I said earlier, I was the store manager of for 10 years in 4 different stores, including that Union Square store in San Francisco. And then my career path was a little bit different after that. I came back to Southern California as a regional vice president, and that was when we were, Macy's was not as big as we were today. It was prior to the May company merger. And I had a region that was about $1.2 billion in sales, about 25 stores in Southern California. I was then promoted out of Macy's West, where I spent the majority of my career, to Macy's Northwest. And it was a separate division of Macy's. It was one of 7 where I was the senior VP and director of stores. So in that position, I worked with the president and the CEO, and I ran all stores, visual, staffing, all of that. We then consolidated, and we then went to what we are today, which is one Macy's. I wanted to come back home. 3 years in Seattle was enough for me. And weather's very different than here. I wanted to come back home, and so I'm back in Southern California as a district vice president. So I kind of grew up in the time where you went back and forth corporate and you had a lot of different opportunities.
Well, I think you have to be really driven. You have to be enthusiastic and positive when you go into the store every day. And just the customer will feed off of that. You go in excited, ready to give the customer, your best side every day.
So there's a lot of different skills that you could bring to the table to be a successful store manager, and that's one thing that I think is really cool about Target is that they don't really limit any one specific skill that's going to make or break you as a store manager. It's really cool that you have the opportunity to really look at yourself and who you are as a leader and what are the things that you are great at that's going to make you successful and that you can really leverage to drive results, to help develop your team, and what are the things that maybe you're not so great at, because we're all not perfect, as much as we want to be. We really take a look at that too and really assess what can we do to minimize that so that's not going to be something that's going to be detrimental for you, something that isn't going to be a showstopper for you as far as your career path in the future. So I think there's a lot of different things that you need to look for and that can really help you out with this, being successful, but a lot of different things. So I don't want to limit it to one specific thing, but the most important thing that I look at with my team when I'm assessing talent is just being a really genuine good person who just has really great intentions for the business and being driven and wanting to succeed and being engaged in that all the way. So.
Those are all good ones. I'll keep it really short. I think it's people. We're in a people business. That's what we do. It's wanting to work with people, develop people. I think it's passion. You've got to be passionate about what you do, passionate about driving sales, passionate about training people, developing people. High energy and enthusiasm. So what I look for at any level in management are the things that you don't necessarily go to school for. It's really who you are and what you're going to bring to the table because you learn retail. You're very lucky that you have a school here that's a retail school. I never took a retail class before. I never had one. But you learn it. But the people part of it and your energy that you can bring really is what we're looking for.
I agree with all of that. The only thing that I would probably even add is just really deep down initiative. This is a business that moves fast and changes quickly, and you really have to have the initiative to want to move and change with that. And then again, I just put extra emphasis on the people piece. You have to, in the heart of who you are, have to really care about people and wanting them to succeed.
I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. The development of the people we have on our team creates a level of service and a level of execution that you just can't walk off the street and get that. But that personality piece and that ability to listen to direction and to take that step into being successful, that's a big part of it. So development of our team is what I would say is best.
Definitely have to agree with the people portion. You must love people to be in this industry. I think the attention to detail is critical, something that you learn, and it's not something you're always born with. You can learn it. The follow-up skill, that's a skill that is essential in retail, is a follow-up skill. In my opinion, it's 80% of my job, where I would give a directive and follow up, make sure it's getting done, make sure those tasks are getting done, and certainly have fun. So I like to have fun in my buildings. I think everybody in the store that perceives you and sees you each day, you have to work with these young people every day, older people every day, middle-aged people every day, and myself every day. Not every day you wake up 100%, but you want to come in with a good attitude, and you want to project that every day. So that's really the main thing. I think the attention to detail and manage your time. You do learn to manage your time, and that's critical. So.
I don't think I have a lot to add. I think Jeff was really eloquent, but especially speaking about passion and the passion for people specifically. I think you need to be something of a servant leader. So certainly have that drive to and enjoy leading and inspiring a team, but doing that always from the perspective of how you can best help them succeed. Because really, to be successful in management and leadership, it's all about how well you develop your team. Because if you develop a great team and they're passionate about what they're doing, your life is so easy, really. It's just all the fun stuff. Well, after 25 years with the same company, I kind of still feel like I'm on a honeymoon with JCPenney, but I've had the opportunity to work in many different states and many different positions, and I've had great mentors in my career everywhere I've gone. So it's kind of like a family network. There are probably 10 people that I reach out to that are district managers, regional managers. The director of JCPenney stores is somebody that I look up to. And we also look for feedback sort of in a 360 format. I turn to my team and ask how I can be a better leader for them. And I get great feedback from my management and leadership team and also from the associates that we serve every day. So I think you look everywhere for feedback. But you have a tendency, and I'm sure these guys will agree, to develop mentors over the course of the career.
The corporate environment, no matter what you do, you're in an office. You know, you do interact with people, but you're in an office. I found that for me personally to be kind of stifling. I like to be out there. I like to be around people. I like working with people and the customer. So I think that when I look back on that, I learned a ton. It was a great job. Being a buyer is a great job, and it's helped me do what I do today and what I've done even before this. But I really think that when you look at Storeline, there's something about it it's the amount of people that you work with every day and the energy that you have that you really don't have in a corporate environment. And not saying that the corporate environment isn't important, it is, but we're all in the business of stores. And, you know, corporate doesn't ring cash registers, but stores do. And so that to me is the thing that I've always been really energized about.
Question, and I'm holding the mic. How do you like that? I think probably if I speak globally, you know, volume of stores, complexity of stores certainly, you know, ranges. I think, gosh, I'll try to be safe. I think, you know, globally probably, and I'm not speaking for all, you know, Target's a big box, some of Macy's are big boxes, a couple of Penny's are big boxes. The rest of us are a lot of mid-range boxes, so maybe mid-60s up into, you know, the six figures. Would that be safe, everybody? You know, certainly time and experience, amount of box. Of course, I'm not counting bonuses, which, you know, for many companies is anywhere from, you know, 10 to 70% of your salary. And, you know, I think my Walmart guy in the back, it's more of your salary than that. I'll give you a little wink and nod there. You know, Walmart's bonus structure is even more of a percentage than that. So without knowing all these guys intimately, it's certainly very lucrative. I'll say that. Is that fair? Everybody? Try it on that one.
I think there's a misconception, and I thought that was a great question. I think there's a misconception because we all have to start somewhere. You know, and so when I was an executive trainee, I wasn't really that happy about my salary, right? But you know, it comes with the experience and it comes with your performance, and it can be very lucrative. I think you said it extremely well. And when you start to look at bonuses, if you become an equity member, that stock that you have in the company, it could be very lucrative. It could be some of the highest earnings of anyone within your corporation could be in the stores and as a store manager. So I thought that was a great question.
Something to add. So I can definitely say that the salary at Target is definitely very competitive, and within the time, I was just a campus hire just a little over 2 years ago, so right where you guys are. And from the time that I was hired on right out of campus to where I'm at now, I have literally doubled my salary. So that definitely feels really good. In between just the bonus structure and the competitive benefits that are offered, you can very quickly get into the six-figure range at a pretty young age. So.
I think there's, you know, it's all relative, because on the buying side you have different layers as well. So, you know, you go from a buyer to a DMM to a GMM. And in our company, you know, we kind of equate, if you were to equate how the levels go across the organization, a buyer and a sales manager are pretty equal, okay? A DMM and a store manager are pretty equal. A GMM and a large store manager in a large volume store could be equal, or a district vice president in a GMM. So it's all kind of relative. So you can't say you're going to make more one way or another, and both have bonus structures as well. But I think they, I don't know if that answers the question, but you know, they're pretty similar. It's just really doing a different type of job.
Don't be too big for your britches. I think it's really about humility, and especially coming out of college and going into a management assignment for the first time, you find yourself working with folks from different generations. And so you're going to be working with traditionalist baby boomers, Gen Y, Gen X, and you've got to have the ability to sort of reach out to all of those people. And honestly, from experience, I would say that is one of the bigger obstacles that people overcome as they start their careers, as kind of learning to go in with humility, because your team obviously drives your success.
I think certainly you check your ego at the door, so that's a big piece. And as you are dealing with a lot of different personalities in a store, one being yourself, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're dealing with 50, 60 different personalities in a day, in Gen X and Gen Y. It becomes a challenge to associate to one individual's thoughts and feelings which occur into a workplace. So I think keeping an open mind, listening to what they have to say, get them involved, get their buy-in, that's a big piece. So.
That I would add in terms of what you don't learn in school is, right now your job is to know all the answers. Your job in 6 months or a year from now is to be able to lead other people to find the answers and to be excited about that. And that is what I see our college grads struggle the most with, is they want to know everything right now, today, tomorrow. And really, I remember last year, and many of my partners out there that were with me, we were at a board meeting for the retail school, and somebody made a comment, in the retail school we're teaching our group and our students how to work in teams. And we all raised our hands. Anne's over there from Macy's, I remember, she was my partner in this, and we all raised our hands and said, no, we want the students that want to lead teams. And that's the biggest difference, is that right now you're part of the team, we're asking you to start to lead it. keep it quick, and then I'll let the store managers probably have some better answers. I think what I learned when I ran a store is not to assume that you know what the customer's gone through that day. So if you try to remove yourself from the bile that's being spit at you, I've had lots of things, cards thrown at me, papers. I mean, I could go on for hours. But certainly not to assume that you understand the full situation, and to understand that your job is to solve the problem, and so that you don't become part of it. I think it's really just about your mindset. There are some angry, frustrated people out there, but I also have stories where I followed someone in the parking lot who was so mad at me that she threw the bag on the ground, and I went out to take it to her, and she let me know she was sorry, but her son was in the hospital and terminally ill, and she just finally flew. So, really, I, of course, wouldn't have known that as she was screaming at me. And that day, I'll never forget. It was actually my 25th birthday. I will never forget. It was a light in my mind to look at angry customers differently.
I think for me, the biggest thing for dealing with the customer who's upset is just to listen. Let them express whatever their frustration, their concern, their anger is. And then, of course, when I'm listening, I'm trying to think of formulate how am I going to be able to make this right for them? Part of that is knowing what I can do as a manager, and also empowering my people to know, hey, you guys do what you need to do, and if it's the wrong thing, we'll talk about it later, but let's take care of this customer today.
Let's see, I've certainly been through a lot of these. The first thing that I've learned, it takes about 5 years to not take them personal. So I've been doing it 25, so my first 5 years I took them all personal. Not really, it's close though. Truly you take it a little personal, and you have to kind of pull yourself away from that and realize it's not you that's caused the issue here. And to their point, you need to listen to what the customer is saying and somehow figure out for them, listen to the content, what they're I guess discouraged over, whether it's a customer, another customer, whether it's an associate, whether it's a product, whether it's a price. There's always a resolution. There's usually a resolution, and you can come to one. So the main thing is just don't take it personal, and you tend to go through it a lot better, because tomorrow will be a lot more comfortable also, because you're going to take it home and sleep on it. So just realize that you can, some people you can't solve the issue. So for the most part, you can solve the issue with most of them. There's some people you cannot please, but don't take it personal. The next day, wake up and try to listen to the content and fix what they need to do. Compromise with them in some fashion.
Never had an unhappy customer. In my little universe. You know what, I think that was a tough one for me to learn too, and I agree, I do take it personally. But I've learned, just to disarm people. By the time you're called into a situation as a member of a leadership team, they're already pretty upset, right? So you're walking into a volatile situation, and so I have kind of a standard thing. I always hold out my hand and say, "Hi, I'm Judy. How can I help you today?" And so you immediately kind of disarm the situation. So there are tricks of the trade. Yeah, there are methods. There is a great book called The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. And it really is about, I would say I spend 80% of my time working with developing my team. And, after 25 years, I'm living my dream. I'm doing what I want to do, and I get my greatest joy from helping others get where they want to go. And I would tell you, the more time you invest in your team, the more discretionary time you have to sit and be strategic about how to grow your business because you have a great team that gets things done.
Well, it is a little bit funny. I start on Monday, and Monday is an office day, at least half an office day for me, and my door is open. My boss tells me to close my door. I just choose not to do that. But what's funny is I'm sitting at my desk and I'm really doing a lot of things on Monday, and they walk past my door. Hey, how you doing today? Hey, how you doing today? And it's always constant coming into my office and asking questions. So I choose to do that. I choose to let them come in, and we do get that association on Mondays. But I do walk the floor quite a bit, and actually touch base with everybody. Really, the main thing is to try to get a connection with them. Over the years, I've learned a couple things. I don't usually ask personal questions of people and find out about their life and their history, but you do need to know some basic foundations of where they're from and what they're all about. And I think it helps you to learn how they tick. So.
I'll just say one thing. I think that the development piece kind of perpetuates itself. So the better I can help develop, the more time I have to do that type of thing, or anything that I need to get done during the day. But it doesn't have to be a formal. I don't have to make an appointment and say, today we're going to develop you at 1 o'clock. I mean, that could just be as simple as me walking past and engaging in a simple conversation and asking specific questions and doing coaching at that point. So
you all said it very well. I would say it's 100% of my time. I am never alone. So I'm the one that said I have an office day on Monday, right? I have 17 people that I am working with in my office constantly. And my job, whether I'm in my office or whether I'm in a store, is to develop people. That's what I do. And so it really, you can't, I like what you said, you can't make an appointment for development, right? It just kind of happens through your daily interaction.
I said it before, but 70% of the job is follow up. So, just go to the territory where you have to pick work.
I want to be respectful of our time, and I bet you all are a little hungry. So we want to adjourn into the atrium. But before we do that, because now you're going to do your own little interaction because you've got all these wonderful people here, I would like you all to give these folks a wonderful round of applause. Thank you all very much. Thanks to you all. I know you've come some of you a very long way to engage with our students, and we are eternally grateful for that. Our students have certainly gained a lot from this discussion, and I think there's more to come as well. Students, I would like you to know that there's an evaluation piece asking such questions as, did we change your mind about the idea of being in the store management career path? And we'd like to know what you think. So when you get a chance, and I'm going to bug you by the doors because I want the information. Please fill it out. It's an easy questionnaire. And with that, shall we get something to eat and drink? Thank you all.
In this more positive framework, but really have them lead the dialogue as far as how to address those issues and recognize these signs.
Because maybe then that could be the principal could be critically thinking about values as the underpinning of our assumptions about relationships.
Yeah.
As that sounds that's a different way to frame it than picking the cultural norms that are, good or bad, or I don't know.
Right. Well, we don't want to.
Broad area.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So just a suggestion along that line, I don't know if maybe you already spoke about this, but using like a participatory action research kind of method to really involve the young people with you in developing the intervention or the lessons and having them, can really speak to
Right, and that's why we've been doing these focus groups to try to get them to sort of flesh out, because the kids actually have a tremendous amount of ideas.
Beyond that, having them, actually help write and do a little bit more would be helpful too. But my question was actually about the difference with the immigrant youth. Can you speak to that a little bit?
You mean as far as a recommendation for programs?
Or no, just any differences you found in your study with immigrants, with teams that were immigrants?
Okay, and I just wanted to go back and let you know, I kind of skipped over our collaborative relationship with the schools, but we're actually working with principals and our community partners to get their ideas about the dating violence programs as well. So we've been doing some interviews and focus groups with people that are relevant staff to get their ideas after we have reports that we're presenting on their particular school. So that's part of the collaborative relationship, being able to give back to them some of our findings that's specific to their school, and to work with them to see their reactions based on what we find and what they think is important to have in a program. Also, because of the limitations of the school, are really important to see if what we can develop is going to work practically, speaking with what they have at the school. And we've been working with, we've done 16 different workshops in Phoenix with parents and teens on teen dating violence we were funded through No Parent Left Behind to put on these workshops, give them food and things like that. So we've had parents and kids come together and talk about some of the myths associated with violence and that kind of thing. So that's been helpful too as well. So going to the immigrant youth, again, this is just sort of preliminary analyses, but just what we're finding with the youth that are more highly acculturated, they seem to have more perpetration and more victimization of violence. In the focus groups, we're finding that a lot of them are more, and this could be in conjunction with some of the things that are going right now at a macro level in terms of the policies surrounding Mexican American kids, but a lot of them just sort of want to not address that they're Mexican at all. And sort of just, I don't want to have Spanish in a program, I don't want to talk about that. I'm, pretty much white is kind of what they're saying. So some of the higher, and it could be a political factor of what's going on right now that we're seeing this artifact. We definitely saw when SB 1070 came out that we had a decline in our participation, and we had several kids that weren't allowed to come participate anymore because their parents didn't want them to come, even though we said we don't need any paperwork or anything, but there is a big fear associated with that. So we've had a bit of struggle trying to get the more recent immigrant adolescents, and the ones that are more Mexican oriented, our sample is slightly skewed to be more highly acculturated because of that, I think. We actually had a parent component to the study that we subsequently dropped because it became impossible. So. Any other questions?
Like one more question, and then we'll take a break so that people that need to leave at 4 can leave, but we'll have more time afterwards for conversation.
You just cut it off, Steve.
Oops, that was not my intent.
One more really good question. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot too, but because I'm very focused a lot on sexuality education in general, and this just feels like you're providing a lot of evidence that what's needed is relationship education rather than violence prevention. We need to be comprehensively educating people how to have relationships with each other.
Yeah.
That are part of sexuality education.
Right. So definitely having that skill building component in the prevention model. Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're coming to as well?
Yeah, not just from this project, from other projects as well. And some of the new literature that's coming out is really emphasizing more of a how to be good conflict managers, or how to appropriately respond to someone. A lot of times kids they have like happiness and anger, and they have a difficult time managing the other kinds of emotions that they experience in relationships. So being able to identify, oh, I'm feeling hurt, that's what I'm feeling, so how do I address this emotion rather than reacting in just violence whenever something is opposite of happy. Yeah. So
kind of along that line of like integrating some of the, you know, prevention activities we're doing, like sexual education, relationship work, did any of the youth talk about like the violence within the context of being high or drunk or anything related to substance use at all?
That I cannot answer because I don't know. But I am interested to know that, especially since we're finding in the quantitative data that we're seeing that substance use is related to the violence. But I don't know about in the qualitative data yet because they're not finished collecting yet. But I don't remember offhand anybody specifically talking about that. But that doesn't mean it's not there.
Great, well, thank you.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.